Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Very exciting day. First, I want to say hi, guys, fellows, from our Back River treatment plant. Now, we just went on a tour. You are sitting at one of the largest or the largest wastewater treatment plant in the state of Maryland. And you can see it's a big operation. We operate 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we are a major contributor to the Chesapeake Bay cleanup. So in our wastewater treatment plants, reduction in terms of nutrient for this facility and Patapsco accounts for about 40% of nutrient reductions in the Chesapeake Bay Go. Now we also have a very important project that's going on right now, which is our Headworks project, which will eliminate 83% by volume the amount of sanitary sewer overflow that we experience. Once that project is completed, all that will be eliminated. Now, this time, of course, none of this can happen without the strong support of my mayor, Mayor Pugh. At this minute, I would like to invite her to come up and say a few words.
So let me first say hello to all of our employees. Thank you for your hard work and all the work that you do on behalf of the citizens of Baltimore and the region, because as many of you know, we supply water for our surrounding counties. You see our Baltimore County Executive is here with us, Johnny O. Thank you for being here. Andrew Wheeler, we just want to say thank you, the acting administrator at the EPA. I got the call, Senator, earlier last week from Senator Van Hollen and Senator Ben Cardin to let us know, Secretary Ben Grumple, that this was about to happen. We know that this is really important to all of the citizens who partake of our water and are a part of our water system. And so we are really grateful because we realize that this is a project that is, part of it is our federal mandate to fix our piping system. And this is happening all around the country. I just want you to know that I was recently in Miami. I flew down on Saturday, caught a 5 a.m. flight, arrived at 7:30, participated at 9, spoke at 11, took a flight back at 2:15, got back in Baltimore at 5. But the conversation with the other U.S. Conference of Mayors was around our water systems, our waterways, and the need for us to improve, and more importantly, to provide funding for these water problems that we're all facing. So as mayor, I have to make sure that we have quality water and sanitary removal of water waste. But I have to also make sure that we can afford the work without placing undue burdens on our citizens. We're already about to experience a 9% increase over the next 3 years. The great thing, and this is something that I say of all across this country, is that we own our water system. And as a result of that, while we're fixing it, and it is costly, we know that we'll get to reduce it because we maintain ownership of it. We must make sure that we're fixing these systems. As you can see across some of those pipes that are laid there, you know, what we have and experiencing now are galvanized pipes all throughout our city. And I was having this conversation with our energy folks and said, you realize how much energy it costs just to push water through galvanized pipes? So this is a part of the fix that needs to take place in our city and in our region. It isn't enough to just cover everything that we need, but it is a beginning. We need a comprehensive federal infrastructure approach. I said this, and the reason I mentioned the conversation in Florida was because one of the congressmen was there. We talked about the need to continue to provide relief for our citizens because this is costly. We don't want to end up like other cities that are truly suffering. We're not trying to be Flint, and so we're not kicking the can down the road. We're very aggressive in our approach to fix our system. With that, I know our Baltimore County Executive has to be somewhere, so I was going to ask him to come up and say a few words.
Well, good morning to everyone, or good afternoon at this point. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to echo the mayor and thank all of our hardworking employees for all that you do day in and day out here on this site. It was great to tour the plant recently with Senators Cardin and Van Hollen, Administrator Wheeler. As we took that tour, we learned that the size and scope of this facility is both impressive and massive in both size and cost. As we're learning through our process here, the headworks alone that are underway is more than a $400 million investment, as well as the enhanced nutrient removal project now reaching completion is another $236 million. So as you think about these costs and these investments, and that's exactly what they are, investments, the importance of this partnership and our regional approach as we serve the citizens of the greater Baltimore region. We are in this together, and Baltimore County residents do shoulder a portion of the cost. And so we are thrilled to be joining the mayor and her team for today's announcement. This is more than a commitment to maintain the present infrastructure. We're proactively, as the mayor said, providing for the future. It's a commitment that isn't just restricted to our sanitary systems either. We're also partners with our friends in the city at the Fullerton Reservoir, and those reservoirs will one day be followed with a water filtration plant on site, providing a much needed supplement to the aging Montebello water filtration plant. So we are working on a day-to-day basis with our partners here in Baltimore, and we know that all of these things come with a price tag, very hefty ones, but we know that together these are expenses we have to find a way to shoulder and meet, and today's loan is an important step in that process. I want to thank our federal partners for making it possible. It will be shaving tens of millions of dollars of cost that would otherwise be borne by our residents, so we are truly grateful. We look forward to a continued partnership with the Secretary of the State, with our federal leaders, and the mayor here. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I apologize I have to run, but we're excited about the future together. And with that, I'll turn things back over to the mayor. Thank you all very much.
So I'm now going to bring up Andrew Wheeler, our acting administrator at EPA, and he'll proceed with the program. Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor, for the introduction. It's a privilege to be here today with so many of Maryland's elected officials and community leaders. Thank you both senators for being here, and happy to be here with you today. Our mission at EPA is to ensure that all Americans, regardless of their zip code, have clean air, clean water, and clean land. We can't accomplish this mission if our nation's infrastructure is falling apart. To give you an idea of the challenges that we face, roughly 700 water main breaks occur across the United States every single day. Not surprisingly, the American Society of Civil Engineers gave our nation's drinking water and wastewater infrastructure D grades. That's why the President has made modernizing our nation's infrastructure a top priority. From highways to pipelines and waterways, the Trump administration is committed to improving our country's infrastructure across the board. At EPA, we are taking the lead on financing projects that will upgrade our water systems. Through our Water Infrastructure Finance and Innovation Act WIFIA loan program, we are able to provide low-cost supplemental loans for water-related projects throughout the nation. These loans fulfill several of the President's top priorities in one fell swoop: upgrading infrastructure, creating jobs, and protecting public health. And that's what we're doing here in Baltimore. We are delighted to announce this new $202 million WIFIA loan from EPA to the city of Baltimore. This loan will help the city make system-wide upgrades to its aging water infrastructure. Like many urban centers around the country, Baltimore is facing the immediate challenge of aging wastewater infrastructure. With this WIFIA loan, the city will be able to complete 14 separate projects, including repairs across its large wastewater conveyance system, upgrades to the Black River wastewater treatment plant, and improvements to its stormwater management system. Together, these projects will improve the reliability and performance of the city's wastewater infrastructure for nearly 2 million people. These projects will also prevent sewage from flowing into the inner harbor and safeguard the major investments that have been made to restore the Chesapeake Bay. We are proud of the progress we've made to protect the Bay, and we can't afford to see those gains slip away. By taking advantage of the low-interest WIFIA loan, the city will save up to $40 million. This loan marks EPA's 7th WIFIA loan to close to date. Combined, these loans will provide nearly $2 billion in WIFIA credit assistance while creating 6,000 jobs across the country. And that's just the beginning. Last fall, we invited 39 new projects to apply for WIFIA loans to finance over $10 billion in water infrastructure upgrades. These loans will upgrade aging infrastructure while creating up to 155,000 jobs and improving water quality and public health for over 20 million Americans across the country. And we couldn't do this without the support of our congressional leaders. Two of them are here today. Thank you very much. This is good government in action. Federal, state, and local officials are working together to finance projects that will improve the lives of millions of Americans. We're delighted to have the opportunity to announce this loan right here in Baltimore, and we intend to announce many more like it in the coming months. I want to thank our EPA career staff who worked very hard on this loan, specifically the following people: Andrew Sawyers, Amit Shrivastava, Danusha Chandy, I believe all three are here today, and George Kuhatek, who is not here today. And I also want to recognize the head of my Congressional and Intergovernmental Relations Office, Troy Lyons, who is a native of Baltimore, and I believe his parents are also in the audience today. Thank you all for your time, and it is now my pleasure to introduce the Senior Senator for the State of Maryland, Senator Ben Cardin. Senator Cardin has been a true partner across many environment and public works issues, especially when it comes to protecting the Chesapeake Bay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Administrator, first of all, thank you very much. This is a big day. This is an important moment. We have the Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agencies here. We have our Secretary of the Environment from Maryland. We have the Region 3 Director of EPA, 2 United States Senators, a Mayor of Baltimore, the County Exec of Baltimore County, and Rudy Chow. So we have, and all the employees that are here, all the workers. This is a big deal. Only 12 grants were given in this round. Baltimore is one of 12 in the country. Congratulations, Madam Mayor, on the work that you did so that we could qualify for this grant. $202 million, saving $40 million in cost. That's a lot of money. Now what does this mean? It means that we can stay on schedule in taking care of wastewater and runoff water to make sure that we have clean water in our community for drinking and to return to our watershed in the Chesapeake Bay to improve the quality of water here in our community. It's a big deal. And what's happening right here, Back River, is so important to reaching those goals. Mr. Administrator, I really want to thank you for the way that you are promoting clean water around the nation with the use of the WIFIA funds. Let me just take you back a moment. Madam Mayor, you'll be interested to know that the U.S. Conference of Mayors testified before the Environment and Public Works Committee. Both Senator Van Hollen and I served on that committee several years ago to point out what Administrator Wheeler said, and that is our aging infrastructure, water infrastructure, we need more creative ways in order to modernize. Because the ratepayers just can't pay the full freight of this. It just won't work. So we need to find alternative ways in order to finance these projects. Your former mayor, Stephanie Rawlings Blake, representing the U.S. Conference of Mayors, testified before our committee and implored us to come up with new ways to help finance, because the state revolving fund, very important, we want to see it larger, but we need more alternative ways. We had just finished working on creative ways for transportation, the TIFIA program. So when we reauthorized the water program a few years ago, we added the WIFIA program so that we can leverage and reduce interest costs, $40 million benefit. And this year, under Senator Van Hollen's help, we passed the Water Resources Development Act that reauthorizes the WIFIA program to 2021. We also authorized it at $100 million. $55 million was provided in the budget. $5.5 billion that leverages in WIFIA loans, which means we can really make a difference in our environment. We're not proud that we have a D rating. We want to do something about it. What we're doing today is taking concrete steps so that we can fill that gap. And I said, this is a big moment. I'm proud to be part of this. Team Maryland is here, working together to help the people of our state. Congratulations. And now it's my honor to turn it over to my seatmate. As I said, we both serve on the Environment and Public Works Committee. Senator Van Hollen has been an incredible partner, doing a great job on the Chesapeake Bay and doing a great job for the people of Baltimore and the state of Maryland. Senator Van Hollen.
Well, thank you, Ben. It is great to be here with all of you, the entire team from Back River, the team from the EPA, from the city, from the state. And, you know, I think back to some of the really important landmark pieces of legislation we passed in our country back in the 1970s, the Safe Drinking Water Act, the Clean Water Act, and we have to build on that legacy and modernize those efforts going forward. And so I'm really grateful that everybody's coming together here, because what you see reflected in this room is the reality that in order to make sure we deliver on those promises of clean water, both in terms of drinking water and public health, and also cleaning up our streams and rivers and our beautiful Chesapeake Bay, is teamwork and partnership. And really pleased to be here with my friend and partner in the United States Senate, Ben Cardin, who serves on the Environment and Public Works Committee, also chairs one of the critical subcommittees, and was a key leader in the efforts to reauthorize the legislation that helped provide the WIFIA grant that brings us together today. And we all know there's a lot of polarization and dysfunction in the Congress these days, but sometimes the good news stories don't get told. And today, we're witnessing one of those good news stories, because amidst all the craziness in Washington on Capitol Hill, people did came together to put together this WIFIA loan reauthorization, and today we're seeing the results of that. So I want to thank the Senator and all the other folks who were part of that. To our EPA Administrator, thank you. Thank you for taking that authority and running with it, and putting Baltimore City right at the top of the priority list, because as you witnessed, there are really important things going on here, but we need this partnership to make sure that we take it to the next level. So I want to thank you, Administrator Wheeler. I want to thank the other folks from your team, Cosmos Servideo, Region 3 Administrator. We had the opportunity to meet about 2 weeks ago in my office, talked about a lot of things, including making sure we clean up our streams and rivers and bay, but also very specifically about the WIFIA program. So I want to thank your entire team for being part of that effort. And sitting next to him, of course, is our great Secretary of the Environment, Ben Grumbles. Thank you for all the work that you've done. And that just reflects the fact that this is a partnership. And we are, of course, in Baltimore, and we have a great leader in the mayor. And of course, Johnny O, the county executive. But you, in the end of the day, Madam Mayor, you're on the front line. You're the ones who are held accountable by the people of this area to making sure you deliver the clean water, and that you deliver it in a way that doesn't create pollution flowing into our rivers and streams and the Chesapeake Bay. So I want to thank you and your team for all your work. And as Senator Cardin and others have said, the key to this partnership is to make sure that we're all in it together. Because when you have cities, you know, very important historic cities like the city of Baltimore with aging infrastructures. I think this plant is 1905, right? 1905 was when the Back River plant first sort of began. And of course, the city of Baltimore has grown a lot over that time. And when you have that challenge, it's really important that people work together, and the people of Baltimore should not bear the entire burden. This $202 million WIFIA loan will save the ratepayers in the Baltimore area, Baltimore City and Baltimore County, $40 million because of the lower costs of this loan. And that's $40 million that will not have to be put into the rates, and we know there's a constant struggle with trying to make sure we keep up with the infrastructure and making sure that we share the burden. So thank all of you who are here to make it possible. Yes, we all hope that we will have bipartisan support for a major infrastructure modernization plan. But the good news is that when it comes to water infrastructure, what we did last October and what we're doing here today is a reflection of a good news story, and I want to thank everybody who helped make it possible. And I think originally I was going to turn this over to Johnny O, but I'm going to turn it back to the Director Chow, and I want to thank you for all the work that you're doing, because we have a massive project, as you showed us here, and it's really important that we make sure that all the pieces come together so we can do our job for the people of Baltimore and the people of the state. So thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for all the great words, and I want to thank again our federal, our state, and certainly our county partners, because this is a true partnership as we continue to revitalize and clean up our waterways in the region. So with that, this concludes the presentation, and we're not going to take any questions. So if you have any, you certainly can welcome to do a one-on-one. Thank you very much. Have a great day.